Do you know what a saint is? A saint is someone who is their supernatural, heavenly self while they're here on earth. And they do a lot of prayer and meditation because they're always having to try to remember who their natural self is because there's a lot of pain on earth. It's easy to forget. And they're usually drawn to religion because religion is all about getting in touch with your heavenly self and practicing letting your heavenly body merge with your earthly body. In many ancient religious traditions, including Buddhism, Hinduism, shamanism, and Catholicism, it's well known that the earthly body of a saint, because it's merged with its heavenly body, after it dies, it does not decompose. And it's called incorruptibility. Bodies of saints do not decompose after death, and they give off a sweet, fragrant odor, and they smell like fresh flowers. After a saint dies, they leave it out in the open for a long time and just never decomposes. And there are instances where 1,000 years goes by and the body is the same way that it was when that person died. And many religions will put the bodies of saints on display, like in glass coffins, in basilicas, and in temples. And they'll bury the body underneath the altar in a basilica or in a temple. The Catholic Church has 250 bodies of saints buried underneath different cathedrals. And sometimes they chop up the body, it's called dismemberment, and they bury a saint's arm underneath this cathedral, and they ship the other arm and this leg and that foot out to all the cathedrals, and it is buried under the altar. And that when they do that, that's called a relic. And when Pope John Paul II was canonized, his blood and pieces of his skin were scraped off his body, and they displayed them in St. Peter's Square. Now, sometimes they take pieces of hair or fingernails and they put them in little vials, and Catholic priests will wear them like necklaces. And in other religions, they noticed the same phenomena, that the bodies of saints don't show any signs of decay after death, and they smell very pleasant. For example, the body of Buddha, the body of Ramanuja, which is preserved inside the Sri Rangam temple in India, the body of Yogananda, which is here in Glendale, California, the hair and the footprint of the Prophet Muhammad in Islam. And then there's a ton of saints in Catholicism, like Saint Agatha, who died in 251 AD, Saint Catherine Labor, who died in 1876, Saint Clare of Assisi, who died in the year 1253, Saint Esmeralda, this is her coffin, died in the year 679, and then they exhumed her body 400 years later, and lo and behold, still in the same condition, looking like she died that morning. Saint Francis Xavier, who died in 1552, Saint Pio of Pietrelcini, who died in 1968, Saint Zita, who died in the year 1272. Guess what her job was? She was a maid. Her whole life, she was a maid, and her employers abused her. And she's a saint. So every 50 years, they open up the coffin, check the body, and their skin, hands, and hair is the same as the morning that they died. And this is a religious phenomenon. And what it proves is that you are both your earthly body and your heavenly body. Saints are in communion with their supernatural self, their heavenly self. So much so that when they die, Their earthly bodies carry such a deep love print on them that love print keeps their bodies in perfect condition forever. Sainthood is the living embodiment of Holy Communion. It is better than botox.